Welcome, fellas. Seems all the virgins are kind of acting up today on the channel here. The reason why I said that is because you guys who are virgins, you tend to overdo stuff. You haven't learned to develop that finesse. Like advanced players, we'll walk away from stuff because we got other women to mess with. But you virgins, like I was telling the Zen Thug yesterday, that because he had a chance at a girl to get a girlfriend, experience a relationship, and all that kind of stuff. But because the girl didn't want to fuck right then, right that moment, he walked away from it. And virgins are not advanced players. Okay, you don't have other women on your team. As I say, beggars can't be choosers. But as men, you do have the option of wanting it your way. But you got to have a certain level of finesse, a certain level of not just seeing, how I would do things. Okay, there's got to be some temperance there, if that makes sense. So my feeling on the Zen Thug situation was that he should have actually been a little bit more understanding, and that's the word I'm looking for, because it would be good for him to find a nice girl, have sex with her, and at his age, that's should have happened a long time ago. But it'd be good for him to actually experience that. Okay, instead of saying, "Well, I'm not gonna have sex. I can't do," and walk away. Okay, I mean, he got his first kiss, which is good, and his first, hug, all that kind of stuff. So that means that if he had more experience, he could have actually handled that whole situation a lot better. He could have actually probably got her into bed or gotten close to that. Okay, but that's what virgins are lacking, is you don't have any experience with women. You haven't been around women that much. You guys, who are virgins, so you gotta take into account that you lack experience. Whereas people like me, we've been around women a lot. I'm a personal trainer. I'm around women every day. So I totally understand them. I taught aerobics, and I number of women in the class, except for dudes in there trying to get the hot chicks. So what I'm saying to you fellas who are virgins is you can't jump to supreme player levels and, just tell a female to step off like that. And I'm not saying you should bow down and scrape the ground, because Zen Thug did very well. He did very well up to that point where he told her, "I don't want to," just walked away, and walked away. That's the point where I was objecting to. He did very well until then, and he even tried to overcome her objections. These are objections. Like if you're a salesperson, you learn to overcome objections. No brand new salesperson goes out there and learns to overcome objections his first time out. He learns to develop a certain finesse and a certain feeling for the person. And that's what you virgins lack, is you don't know how to feel the girl out. In reading the conversation that he wrote, if you'd have waited, tried 2 times later, try the next time maybe, or the time after that, he would have gotten there. Okay? That's what I was reading into the conversation of what he wrote. Now, I don't know what the actual situation was, but from what he wrote, the feeling was, because she was already kissing. Okay? So he got his first kiss. And he did very fucking well at it. Until a lot of people, see what I do and how I live my life, and that's not what I want. I want you to become the best you can be for your life. You don't have to live your life like I did, because I broke up with a girl that I had been dating for, the word's dating, because I was actually dating her, 8 years, because she moved out 15 minutes away. If you Google Sacramento, Google also MapQuest Roseville. And I lived in downtown Sacramento. But there were other things going on too that caused me to walk away from that relationship. I had lost a bodybuilding competition where she came in second, and there was other issues that was going on, that caused me to feel like at that time I was 34 or something like that, to feel low self-esteem. And anyway, I was feeling some low shit, so I responded with some negative shit. Negative shit just creates more negative shit. That's why I've went after that Eddie dude's videos, and I'm not gonna stoop myself down to arguing and bittering with that rowdy, naughty, rude, wacky dude, because that just will just create more negativity stuff. There's a good book out there that I'm sharing with the forum right now. It's called The Secret of Ages by Robert Collier, or Collier if you want to call him that, by American translation. But it's bringing me back to my roots, which was, optimistic thinking, power of the mind thinking. And that's stuff that I used to read as a kid. And I'm really enjoying the book, and I'm sharing it with the members of my forum. I'm going through the book, reading, picking out the best parts and sharing them, what they mean and translating for them, giving them an idea of how powerful your mind really is. And last night I did a show on the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is so powerful if only people really knew it. If you think about how, let's say, your subconscious mind calculates exactly how much water, how much salt it needs at all during the daytime. And there isn't a mathematician on the earth that can figure that out. There's not a mathematician on the earth, chemist, engineer, that can spend an entire year trying to duplicate what the subconscious mind does in 1 minute. And they still won't be able to do it. Okay? It regulates your breathing, your heart, your blood pressure, how much blood to pour here. It heals the body. It does so much that we can't, with our normal conscious mind, we can't figure it out. So when I see people like the Zen thing, the universe is bringing to him a female. Okay, that's how it really is. And he rejected that female. So what is that saying to the universe? What is that saying to his subconscious mind? That's also why I'm against the pickup artist method of sending these kids to the streets, having them face all the rejection. Because rejection does hurt, and it does embed itself in the subconscious mind. Every rejection sits there, growing more and more powerful. Now, the subconscious mind cannot do inductive reasoning. It does deductive reasoning. So it deduces that, okay, I approach pretty girl, I get rejected, I feel pain. That's all it knows. Okay? It doesn't see inductive reasoning, like if I approach enough girls, I might get lucky for one. It only knows what it experienced, what you're experiencing, and it deduces from that. That's why the subconscious mind is creating this made-up disease called approach anxiety. Because it's trying to protect these knuckleheads, these idiots, okay, from pain. So when we look at everyone on the face of the planet, we all have a subconscious mind. We all have that powerful genie inside of us that we can tap into. And that's what I teach in my Confidence Kicker program. I have 15 days of what's called the Law of Attraction. I go into that kind of stuff during that program. I used to have the Law of Attraction separate. I canceled that program and decided to just add it into my Confidence Kicker program because it's true information out there. And our scientists are now, trying to figure out, how it all works through quantum physics. Like the subconscious mind knows what it's connected to everybody on everything out there. And they now have a theory called the entanglement theory. And I don't care what theories they come up with. I just know that it works. It's how the brain works. It's how the unconscious mind works, rather words. The brain is nothing but a prism that we focus on the physical plane with, if that makes sense. If I could explain it a little bit deeper, we all have a brain. And our consciousness is the front part of that brain. Okay, it's 10%. Your subconscious mind is about 90%. So it's true that, that one psychologist said that we only use 10% of our brains. We cannot consciously make our heart beat. We not consciously remember to breathe every few seconds. Okay? We cannot consciously make our bones heal and our skin heal up. or grow hair, or digest our food, assimilate all the nutrients that we need. Okay? That's how little of the brain we actually use. The consciousness sits in the front of the brain, and the unconsciousness can be said to sit in the under part of the brain or the back of the brain, however you want to put it. Whatever analogy works for you. It's actually like this in levels. You know, your consciousness, then you have your super consciousness, then you have your subconscious. And from the conscious mind, we can only do so much. But we are the controllers or the gatekeepers for the subconscious mind. And that's where we can, if we recognize that, we can learn to use that to our benefit. Okay? How's it applied to the game? We control what bullshit we put down there. By putting good stuff down there, we change the outer, what's going on in our outer world. That's why, as I said, I'm against the act of forcing guys out there into the streets, tell them to run up on these smoking hot chicks, only to face tons, megatons of rejection. Because it does sit in the subconscious mind, and it does program the reality that person will experience. And if you guys look at it, this whole made-up disease called approach anxiety, it only came out with the pickup artist. You don't see guys in the streets, you know, doing normal guy game, having that kind of nonsense, that kind of nerd bullshit. It's just the guys on the internet who are trying to study this shit. So, from this whole pickup community, these geeks now have a bunch of made-up diseases that gave themselves. And that's one thing about the subconscious mind is, for example, if someone were to write to the newspaper, or the newspaper would come out with a new disease, with the same day, 100 people in that same town will say they have the disease. That's how powerful the subconscious mind is. They'll start mimicking or creating the symptoms. That's why I tell you fellas, do not accept that made-up disease. Because when you do, you give it power. You give it power in your unconscious mind. And your unconscious mind will start then creating the symptoms of it. You suddenly start shaking when you see a pretty girl and think about approaching her. You quiver like a coward, like a rat in the dark. You did it yourself. That's how powerful your subconscious mind is. And we all have powerful subconscious minds. All of us on the face of the planet. If you look at life, whether you believe in, 6,000 years ago, an old white man said, poof, there's an earth. And poof, there's mankind. Or you believe in, 1.25 billion years ago, the earth formed itself and water and all that, and then first life was an amoeba, or a little single germ of life. Then it grew to an amoeba. Then it started adapting to change, and it met the change by adaptation. It grew lungs instead of gills. Grew gills to breathe on the water. It grew lungs to breathe on the land. Then it began to evolve, became all the different plants, the animals, everything that's out there, and eventually evolved into man. That same power is within us. Whether you believe, poof, God put it within us, or evolution put it within us. But that same power responds to change. And it adapts and it overcomes. Because that's what man does. He adapts and overcomes. So what are you doing to adapt to your game and overcome it? I've given you guys all the tools. 7 Steps program, Confidence Kicker. You got everything you need to help you out. There should be no problems you guys should be having with your game out there. Period. You all should be living in a land of plenty. Peace, fellas.